Busy episode of Chicago Bears Now coming at you here on today's show. Could Jim Harbaugh be the next head coach of the Bears? We explain why I think it could be a possibility. Plus, we got the latest news and injury updates heading your way from Halas Hall, including a couple of not so encouraging injury updates on today's show. So stay tuned for that. And our sub battle continues as the Bears take on the Raiders at Soldier Field on Sunday. At least got to beat the Raiders report off the field. Look, this matchup, I don't think the Raiders are a great team, but with how beat up the Bears are and with Justin Fields out, it's going to be tough to win on the field. So let's win off the field. If you want daily coverage here on the Chicago Bears, hit that subscribe button. It's 100% free. Let's dive into these Jim Harbaugh rumors. My name is Harrison Graham. Could Jim Harbaugh be headed to the Bears after this season? Yes, I'm aware the Bears currently have a head coach. Yes, I'm aware Harbaugh is the head coach at Michigan, but let's just look ahead a little bit and catch you guys up on what's happening right now. So Jim Harbaugh and Michigan Football are under investigation for sign stealing, in-person sign stealing, I might add. For apparently the accusation is they sent people to future opponents' games to try and pick up on their signals, which is illegal. You cannot do that. Now, you can try and pick up on signs during the game when you're playing that opponent. That's a completely fair game. You can look across the field and try and pick that off, but you cannot send people to opponents' games on your schedule and try to pick up on that, a competitive advantage. Of course, Harbaugh already served a 3-game suspension for an NCAA recruiting violation to start this year, and I do just wonder if he's just tired of the NCAA, the red tape, the recruiting you have to do, and if he could consider returning to the National Football League, and for our sake, maybe the Chicago Bears. Now, let's get to this statement from the Big Ten Conference on what's going on with Michigan. They say, late Wednesday afternoon, the Big Ten and the University of Michigan were notified by the NCAA that the NCAA was investigating allegations of sign stealing by the University of Michigan football program. Now, my first reaction when I saw that Harbaugh and Michigan were potentially in trouble again was, dude, just come back to the NFL, man. Bears need a head coach. Matt Eberflus, not the answer. I think we're all in agreement on that at that point. Whether you think Harbaugh is your top guy or not, or whether he is your top guy or not, he would bring you instant credibility in terms of a guy who can win in the NFL. We'll outline that later on, but hitch Harbaugh to Chicago. I would love to see this happen. Now, Ross Dellinger, who's been reporting this story for Yahoo Sports, said that sign stealing is not technically prohibited and has a long and colorful history as part of the game. Scouting opponents in person has been prohibited since 1994. Whether the NCAA believes Michigan was using staffers or others who may be loyal to the program is unknown. So too is whether information was detailed via video or some other means, or if head coach Jim Harbaugh is involved. Again, if I'm Jim Harbaugh, I'm just tired of this stuff. I don't know if he knows everything that was going on. Maybe he knows some. Maybe he doesn't. And look, I'm not condoning sending staffers to Ohio State games, for examples, and trying to find a competitive edge if it's against the rules. I'm not condoning that, but there is a lot of garbage you have to deal with if you're a college football head coach compared to an NFL head coach. Number one, you're dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds and with parents who are always in your ear. It's just a mess, and all the NIL stuff is confusing now. The NFL, it's grown men professionals, and you don't have to recruit. It's if you're a college football head coach, it's 2 full-time jobs. NFL, you're just coaching. I'm not saying it's an easy job, but it is way less taxing than being a university head coach, especially at a school of the caliber of Michigan. So I do wonder if Jim Harbaugh's you know what, screw this. I'm finishing this year out. I'm going to try and win a national championship, which is what I came back to Michigan to do, to win a natty at my alma mater. Then I'm going to go try and do it for the Bears as well, where I play quarterback, and save that franchise too. If that's my message to you, Jim Harbaugh, finish this year out, try to get a natty, maybe it gets vacated, who knows, and then leave Michigan, because it just seems like it's one thing after the other at this point. And if I'm Jim Harbaugh, I'm just I don't know, man. This is just exhausting. And on top of all that, too, this year's his best chance to win a natty. It kind of feels like it's now or never with a lot of these guys expected to go pro after this season. So, hey, maybe the Bears could be the beneficiary and perhaps pick up Harbaugh as their next head coach. What say you? if he's available, should the Bears hire Jim Harbaugh? What would you do? Type H for hire or P for pass. I would hire him in a heartbeat. I know he's a funky guy and he's a weirdo and this and that, but the resume speaks for itself. This is his head coaching tenure in his career. University of San Diego, virtually never lost. Stanford, which was the most dead program at the time among Power 5 institutions, turned them around and won a BCS Bowl with them. Goes to the 49ers, takes them to multiple NFC championship games and a Super Bowl, almost wins a Super Bowl with Colin Kaepernick. Then he goes to the University of Michigan and, early on lost some big games there, but the last 2 years, they've been the face of the Big Ten. Like, he is a winner. And by the way, he's got connections to the Bears because he was their starting quarterback for about half a decade. Went 35-30. Wasn't, awesome by any means here, but he knows the Bears organization. Like, he knows this region of the country, which he's been near with Michigan for several years now. Like, Jim Harbaugh would be a really good fit, and it would give the Bears credibility, and it just makes sense, man. Like, my message to the Bears now, I delivered Jim Harbaugh one, I'm delivering one to you, Kevin Warren, George McCaskey, Ryan Poles, whoever. Matt Eberflus is clearly not the guy. I don't care if you fire him midseason at this point, after the season, whatever, but he cannot be your coach in 2024. Bring a proven winner back to Chicago. That is what Jim Harbaugh is. And I would trust him to hire a good staff too. He might bring his DC with him, which, by the way, the defensive numbers they're putting up this season are historic at the college level. He's got connections to guys like Greg Roman. If you want to keep a guy like Justin Fields, that's an interesting name to keep in mind. Like, Jim Harbaugh, the Harbaughs in general, are very well connected. Like, he would bring a credible staff and not a bunch of first-timers who have never done the job before in terms of calling offense, calling defense, etc. Like, you get Jim Harbaugh, not only are you getting a proven winner at head coach, you're probably getting some proven coordinators as well, which is something Matt Eberflus was not able to do when he got this job. Now, who is your top candidate to replace Matt Eberflus? Maybe you don't want Harbaugh as your top guy. That's cool. I would say this, though, even if he's not your top guy, you can't tell me it would be a disappointment if you got him. Like, come on. Like, if Harbaugh's who you get, like, you got to be fired up about that. But maybe you want Ben Johnson. Maybe you want somebody else. Let me know. And if you want Jim Harbaugh, drop his name down in the comments. Now, speaking of great candidates, great options, PrizePicks is absolutely fantastic. It is the best game in the business when it comes to daily fantasy sports. Here's how it works. You pick 2 to 6 players, any sport, by the way. It's college football, NFL, Major League Baseball playoffs, NBA, whatever it is, 2 to 6 players on any given entry, and if they will go for more or less than their PrizePicks projections. I got a 3-player entry for this weekend for the NFL. Najee Harris has been a stiff this year. Give me the less on his rushing yards. He's been splitting carries as it is. DJ Moore, I'm going to take the more. I'm a little hesitant all of a sudden with the offensive line injuries, which we're about to discuss, so stay tuned. And then I'm going less on Tua passing yards. I think Philadelphia has a get-right game and challenges Tua in that Dolphins offense. Pick 3 entry, win 5 times your money. Let's go. You can win up to 25 times your money if you do a 6-player entry. Get started today at prizepicks.com/CLNS. When you sign up, you can get up to a $100 deposit match if you use that code CLNS, so go ahead and do so. And at PrizePicks, you're not competing against other players. You're not going up against sharks, pros. It's just you versus the stat projections. So get started today, prizepicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS. That link and promo code in the description and comments of this video. All right, let's get to the injury news portion of this show, and it's not great. Darnell Wright, dealing with an injury, did not practice on Thursday as he's dealing with a shoulder problem. He was limited yesterday, DNP today. That's trending in the wrong direction, and I'm very concerned for Tyson Bagent this weekend because this might be your starting offensive line this week. Braxton Jones is still on IR. He's not playing this week. Larry Borum's going to be your left tackle. I'm guessing that Cody Whitehair is going to shift back to guard and Lucas Patrick will start at center. And if he does play guard, I think Tevin probably flips back to right. Now, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't shuffle all these parts just to get Cody Whitehair back at left guard. Either play him at right guard or, quite frankly, they should start Ja'Tyre Carter. But I think they're going to go with this. And then Aviante Collins would have to start at right tackle if Darnell Wright can't play. And this could be a disaster, man. I mean, it could be an absolute disaster. Max Crosby is arguably the best pass rusher in the league right now. And Tyson Bagent, look, the kid's confident. I get that. But, like, if the pieces around you aren't working, you're in trouble, man, against any team, much less a Raiders team that's actually been playing good defense, and Max Crosby, who's been terrific off the edge, and he never comes out of the game. And if you're with two backup tackles, he's going to line up on the left. He's going to line up on the right, and he's going to find the mismatch, and the Bears are going to be in trouble. And I don't trust Luke Getsy to work around that, if I'm being completely honest. Other players who DNP today, Justin Fields, he's not going to play this week. I think that's pretty much confirmed. Roschon Johnson, still in the concussion protocol, not great. Marcedes Lewis, he just takes his veteran rest day every Thursday, so that's not an issue. We mentioned Darnell Wright. Nate Davis, he's also going to be out on the offensive line. He's dealing with a high ankle sprain. Dan Feeney was downgraded to DNP today, so that gives you one less option on the interior there. Eddie Jackson did not practice. Terrell Smith has mono right now. I mean, the O-line in particular is decimated, man. It's a tough go right now. I mean, Tevin Jenkins might be your only true healthy starter, unless you want to count Lucas Patrick and or Cody Whitehair, but those guys are not playing at a high level. Guys who were full participants today, Travis Homer. I actually think he'll get some snaps at running back this week because Deontay Foreman's really bad in pass protection, so Homer may have to play some. Yannick Ngakoue, after being limited yesterday, he was full go today, so that's good. And Doug Kramer, who's still on IR but practicing full, like, I'd give him a look at center, honestly. Whitehair and Patrick stinks, so why not give the 6th-round pick from last year a look? But we'll see if that ends up coming to fruition. So who you got in this game on Sunday? Type LV for the Raiders or CHI for the Bears. I should mention as well, Jimmy Garoppolo is officially ruled out for Las Vegas, so it's either going to be Brian Hoyer or Aiden O'Connell against Tyson Bagent. I mean, throw out the record books, folks. This could be interesting, but I still got to lean Raiders, man, with how many injuries the Bears have and with Bagent making his first start. But let me know, LV for the Raiders, CHI for the Bears. All right, that's going to do it for our Bears news and rumors segment. Jim Harbaugh, leave Michigan. I'm telling you, man, this is the time to leave. Hit that subscribe button. We got you covered with daily videos for 100% free here on Chicago Bears Now.